I like their little banners here because it's going to represent what's going to happen. Bly's going to attack MaNa, and MaNa's Zealot's going to be like, I trained 1,000 years for this, and he's going to hold his place in the wall. It's going to be dope. The bottom left has the blue Zerg. It's Bly. In the top right has the red Protoss. It is MaNa. Not going for his super, super, super fast pylon block, but is still pylon scouting and blocking. On Zen, do you have to? Zen might be one of the maps where you don't have to do the super fast one to get a guaranteed block. Bly actually isn't even trying to go for a 16 hatch. Go for a 17 hatch anyways, and yeah, was more than ready to put down his spawning pool and his gas. So that's suspicious. I mean, MaNa, I mean, he knows Bly. Everyone knows Bly, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean you know all of his tricks or which one he's doing, because he can really mix things up, but if you hatchery block someone like Bly, are you really messing them up? Or did they expect you to do that and they're going to mess you up? Well, Bly actually sends his drone over to the base with the Rich Vespian Geyser and takes it. That's odd. MaNa scouting around for the third base location taken. Nope, it's not there. He knows the spawning pool and the gas are done on the main, but at a time that is not super fast, it's not a bunch of lings popping out now about to cheese him, and he does go immediately to the Rich Vespian Geyser base, so he knows what's up. So yeah, even though those the spawning pool comes down first, it's not actually scary unless it comes down, you know, much sooner than that. It can still be scary in the future. Good old Ling all in still exists, but by then MaNa should have, yeah, blocked off this wall and enough units to hopefully hold this one. Stargate opener, no, he's gonna go for the Robo. Stargate's nice just because it does have the ability to hold against an attack as well as do some scouting and some harassment if the game ends up not being an all-in, or you need to follow, like, what are they doing as a follow-up, or it's actually just a macro game. Stargate's totally fine. A Robo is also pretty good, though, in terms of that flexibility. You can get an Observer, go across the map. I mean, you can always warp in a Sentry with whatever you do, but MaNa actually has such limited gas income. He never got the second gas. Possibly because he was afraid of an attack. It seems that way because he also finished a pylon at the wall. Because you definitely usually get the gas. So it's weird though because he got the Nexus at a normal time, so it's like he knew he wasn't going to be killed instantly, but he still delayed that gas quite a bit. Which, if I had noticed, I definitely wouldn't have said Stargate because he definitely can't afford that. But I guess a Robo and Immortal and very little gateway production, then yeah, you can work off of one gas for quite some time. But anyways, back to what I was saying, Immortal obviously helps against roaches, helps technically against lings, but not as much. And an Observer helps scouting as well as against any burrowed roach play, which could definitely be a thing. And then also provides, well, more of an attack, a follow-up attack, a you cheese me, I held, now you die type of attack than a Stargate does. Oh, he's seriously taking this, like... This Adept's done a nice job of scouting, living longer than I thought she would. Getting some harassment, but not too much. This Rich Vespian Geyser being used, and that's it. Bly did go for roaches, is going for Roach Ling all in. But it won't work. Like, MaNa, he saw how many drones were at that quote-unquote natural. And, did not take this seriously. And that Warp Prism provides a really nice defense. Eventually, Bly will just run everything into MaNa's face and hope that the Warp Prism can't save the day, but I actually think MaNa's Warp Prism will save the day. Very few units, to be sure, here for MaNa, with how he opens, but very important units, primarily that Warp Prism. Shield batteries could recharge some of these buildings. I think one of them in range, at least. Certainly in range of the pylon. Another shield battery on the way. MaNa just affording the Immortals, really. I was like checking to see if he even needed the second gas. But he does. Third shield battery is going to be depowered. Fourth shield battery on the way, but not finished. Ling's trying to go into the main base. They're stopped by an Immortal, but they're actually fairly good against the Immortals. Warp Prism trying to take care of both Immortals, loses one of them. It's a bad babysitter. But there is that third, now second Immortal trying to help out. Barely dodging out of the way of the Corrosive Biles. Bli's attack, even though it's been anticipated for some time, basically since the beginning of this game, is still managing to find a lot of damage. I'm actually really surprised that MaNa missed micros for a second time there and lets the Immortal take damage from the Corrosive Bile and the Lings. A little bit surprising. But Bly is so all in with this, with such a vulnerable natural, that if MaNa just holds, he will be fine. Third Immortal coming through here. Shield batteries have been depowered, about to all be killed as well. Probes also all torn down, but that's okay. Just need to keep the Immortals alive. The Immortal's gonna do the trick. Some X-Core's gonna die, but not that we're on many gateways, if any. No gateways. So, who cares if you can't build a sentry? Always clever, but very dangerous to do against Corrosive Bile, so he does change that mode up. Ling's gonna go for the probes in the main base. He's probably just gonna have to pull the probes against that. Actually, no, a fourth Immortal popped out and caught them once again. That's the second time that MaNa has saved his probes, basically accidentally, I would say, for the Robo rally. Twilight Council is done, Dark Shrine is on the way, but he needs a gateway. One is finally finished. It'll be one DT warp in, but that might just be enough. Well, it certainly will be enough for the defense, because Bly does not have an Overseer, and he can't exactly bring a Spore Crawler forward. 4 Immortals against whatever Bly has left over. That's probably enough. That is probably enough. Even if they are getting very, very weak. Even if the Nexus actually dies. Oh my god, no! Oh, are you kidding me? That is 1 health! Oh no. I mean, you kill the Nexus, it does open up more possibilities for a comeback, even though I think that MaNa still has it, but he didn't get the Nexus. It's so painful. DT still getting free damage, Immortal still getting juggled. Bly, I think he's close to tapping out. Bly is not one to give up very easily at all, but I think he's got to be close to tapping out. Shield battery's still there. Used up most of its energy to make sure that the Nexus didn't die, but it's still there, helping out. And this 1 DT, still looking for all the kills it can find. Like, what is Bly's plan? Alright. After maybe 5 seconds of indecision, he decides to go for a lair and more drones. And creep spread. Whoops. Unfortunately, this is not also a gold base, which would have helped him out in the follow-up considerably, and he did not get that Nexus, which I'm still just like, how? It was literally 1 health. Literally. He didn't get it, and that puts him in a terrible position. Like, honestly, if he had gotten that Nexus, it goes back to, I don't want to say even, but yeah, just the possibilities are there if that Nexus goes down. Because right now, MaNa has a superior economy now, but say that died and he's long-distance mining. He still has this really, really important thing called a Warp Prism that just will not be countered. It's like when Terrans survive on all lane and they drop everywhere because you don't have anything that deals with drops. There is such a comeback potential if they did take a lot of damage. And in this case, MaNa didn't even take a lot of damage, enough damage. But yeah. Nexus dies, he still has the Warp Prism. He still has the potential to kill Bly's hatcheries, I'd say that much. Shield battery's gonna try and hold on to this Nexus, but not gonna happen this time, but at the cost of every single unit of Bly. So was that actually worth it? MaNa was able to mine from that for an extra minute longer than he really should have been with, well, like, good saturation. A couple probes will go down to the couple of drones that went down to the harassment. DT still alive as well, and Bly... yeah, I mean, make no mistake, this is still a fantasy GG timing. Would have been very different if the Nexus went down 2 minutes ago. I'm still on MaNa's side, even then, guys. I am. MaNa has not lost this game at any point, but it would have been closer. Spire is always a clever play. A bit on the nose, but it does work. A second Warp Prism was made. It will help tear down the Immortals and the Warp Prism eventually, but the Archons are available. DT Archons are still fine. Not quite buddying up there, so the Lings will be able to kill both DTs. Kind of an expensive loss there for MaNa. Who also can't make an Archon right now. The Stargate's on the way, I think, as he figures things out. He kills the hatchery. He did not see the Spire, but yeah, as I said, I think he's just figuring that part out. How many gateways does he have? 3 gateways. He could morph in an Archon, which I think is exactly his plan. But yep. And he's also getting a Stargate. So 1 Archon should be enough. There's no way that Bly gets any more than... I mean, max 10 mutas, which is a decent amount, but as we see, it's only 5. That'll be that. Mutas are like, we'll do it. No, we won't. Just kidding. We'll get the War Prism, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else here. For how well set up MaNa was to defend against that, I am still a little surprised Bly kind of almost did it. Almost. 8 minutes ago. But that game was determined a long, long time ago. Maybe the other match finished. We get a lot of people joining in. Well, this is a little awkward. There is another match, Skillless for Soul, that's going to be happening. And people could just wait for that one, but like everyone joined in on this lobby. Bly's not joining the lobby. Soon. Okay, everyone in who needs to be in. And Soul versus Skillless is happening on Wardy's channel. Bly. Bly. He's taking his sweet time thinking about what he wants to do next. I'm actually not sure what's going on. He didn't join the lobby for a while, and then he's in the lobby, but still isn't saying anything. You know what I'm gonna do today, guys? I'm gonna order a pizza. I'm very excited. I haven't had pizza in like since Katowice, actually. We ordered pizza. We guessed what type of pizza it was because we can't read Polish, and there was no English translation. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of Polish words I think that like mimicked American or English that well. So we had to guess for a lot of it. It ended up being a good pizza, but it was kind of like a Hawaiian pizza, I think, with something else added onto it. It was fine. It was good mostly because everyone was, you know, drunk and hungry, but I'm looking forward to finally trying out the mom and pop's pizza place next to me. Okay, finally ready to go. Game number 2 on Nightshade. In the top left, it is Liquid MaNa. In the bottom right, for Team Ra, it is Bly. He rhymes. Oh my god, so cute. So MaNa was pretty much all over Bly's plan. I think Bly, a lot of the wins he gets is from people underestimating him at this league, but there are definitely still cases of people over defending and then messing themselves up, right? Like, I'll always say, if you build 20 bunkers to defend a Roach Ravager all-in, you've actually hurt yourself more than they ever could hurt you, right? That doesn't happen as often in the pro gaming scene because they've played against almost every all-in multiple times. They know exactly how to balance it out between defending enough and to actually not die, but also macro out of it if their opponent actually tries to play a macro game. But it still happens against Bly in particular, and that last game, I thought he did a very good job getting enough, but then maybe some overconfidence towards the middle where he lost that one immortal, right? But it was still fine. It was still fine. Bly not seeming to be able to catch MaNa off guard, but it's not going to stop him from trying. MaNa goes for the scout, the block, if this was an actual macro game. But now it's a scout, sees no hatchery, and is going to start checking around for the proxy hatchery, which is out in the middle of the map. It's funnily enough in like one of the more obvious locations, I guess. This one's definitely the more common, but okay, there he goes. Brings it back through here. And it is going to be the Roach proxy. Lings appear from that spawning pool first. Gonna be a bit annoying, throwing out the adapt. Once again, a robo opener as a response. And this time, no Nexus, because he knows just how dedicated it is. It's going to attack sooner than the attack last game. And be even more dedicated, because there's actually no way for this second hatchery to actually mine. Mama John pizza. Roach is here, coming out. Can't really afford much more than this when you're also building those lings and getting the metablock boost, so... Can't get a queen, a spread creep. Not yet anyways, and you definitely want to get more Ravagers than anything else. But MaNa is... I mean, he's taking this as seriously as he needs to. Maybe someone would try and hold this with also getting a Nexus, and that's how Bly catches them off guard, but... No reason to get a Nexus when they're this dedicated. MaNa even still has a probe actually scouting to make sure it's not immediately into a macro game, which would be, yeah, not really that good. 2 Adepts trying to take out the Lings, but that is going to be it for Adepts, Stalkers, and Sentries. The Sandbag score goes down. Immortal is here, however, and a Mortal Carrier, a Warp Prism is on the way. And that's really going to seal the deal for the defense. Most importantly, hold the natural. It gets scarier and scarier the more your gateways and wall at the front goes down, but he's actually maybe on purpose created a bit of a maze here, so he can still wall. Well, I mean, he still have a pathway there, but he can still try and stop Lings from running past him. Because when Lings run past him and you have to split up this army's 4 units, guys. Like, if you have to split up this army, it gets a little more complicated. So if you're all attacking everything at once, it's a lot easier. He's even rebuilding the wall here. I'm gonna need to juggle a little bit. He picks up the probe accidentally, so he loses an Adept. There's the juggle. There's the juggle. This probe's like, let me in, let me in, let me in. Cancel on the gateway. He just needs Immortals and a War Prism. So once again, we're at the situation where he can't really afford to build from gateways anyways, but he also won't have gateways. He's building up backups, having an X-Core, just anticipating losing this one. But it might do its job here. That Immortal coming in to once again try and distract the Lings. The Lings are going to take the opportunity to get us around on it, but JK, Warp Prism, it's pretty good. Corrosive Bile is actually killing more Lings than anything else from the Protoss. Shield Battery is now out of juice, but doing a great job saving the Stalker for an extended period of time, letting the Immortals do their damage, and while the Sandbag core goes down in the natural, there is another one in the main, also providing a little bit of Sim City. Looks like that Immortal in the main is going to be able to take care of the Lings. Oh. Yeah, okay, there we go. And he's up to 3 Immortals, starts up a 4th one, and Bly, well, he did finally fit in those Queens. They are spreading that creep, and I don't think they'll get into the natural. Maybe they'll try. They're also providing transfuses. Immortals are surrounded. One is picked up. Third Immortal that was in the main comes down to help out. It is mostly Lings right now, and Immortals do not kill them that fast. But then again, with the Warp Prism micro, Lings don't kill the Immortals that fast. Shield Batteries finishing up in the nick of time as well as things get a little bit hairy. Immortals starting to get a little bit low, but the Shield Batteries are here. 4th Immortal is here. Gateway falls down, but that is not a problem. Still not a problem. And obviously with the Robo available, you could always build an Observer once you feel that you have comfortably defended. Bly thinking about macroing, gets another drone, but MaNa still sees no natural hatchery, so he knows how dedicated this is. More Shield Batteries on the way where he can fit it. The creep spread actually has gotten to block the natural, if it ever comes to that. And has blocked the area to put down Shield Batteries. 1 Shield Battery goes down, 1 Pylon about to go down, and Immortal barely saved right there. Whoop, hot pickup, hot pickup. 1 Immortal goes down, another Immortal very, very low. All of them very, very low. Shield Batteries are out of juice. Bly very close to making this work thanks to those Lings constantly getting on top of those Immortals, really. The Ravager is just key in busting down the structures at the front. MaNa going to be up to 4 Immortals soon once again, building a 2nd Robo. Actually, after how many Lings have really appeared in this game, I would have expected him to start to prioritize some gateways, get some Zealots in here. Adepts, more so. 4 Immortals should be comfy feeling again with the Shield Battery up and running. They're full on their shields. And they have their little spell. What is that actually called? I forgot. Oh, the probe got pulled back. Shield barrier or something. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. That thing. I can't get Prismatic Alignment out of my mind for some reason. Is it just barrier? Is it something lame like that? Shoot. Anyways. 2nd Robo for 2 Immortals at a time. Immortals are really good. Here I am thinking that a couple of Adepts help out against the Lings, but why not just make more Immortals? Honestly. Observer was finally made as well. And that's it for the creep spread, which was providing speed boosts to all the attacks. A little something extra. These Overlords are a little bit comical. Oh, runs into a Spore Crawler. I don't blame him. I didn't expect the Spore Crawler there either. That's why he built that 1 drone. It was on the front lines. Also to help out against the Warp Prism. I think he eventually wanted to bring that truly forward. Still spreading the creep, but we're up to, what, 7 Immortals now? A second Warp Prism is coming out? Bruh. All of the shields have been popped here, and the Corrosive Bowels actually hits. It's got a little bit down and dirty. MaNa getting a little overconfident there. Has lost a couple of his Immortals, but is saving the rest of them, so he's still at 5. And lose a probe that was getting a little ambitious about putting down structures in the natural. 18 more Lings. Bly's not done yet. They both are going to start mining out of their main bases, however. And when that happens, MaNa will still be victorious because he still has the more micro potential, the heftier units here. Bly's going with, you know, the resources lost idea. Actually, doing better, funnily enough. He's lost his Lings on his Ravagers. Not even his Queens, really. But still. We know, guys, the stereotype. Zerg's all about more units. So if they can't build literally anything else because they don't have economy. Oh, he does finally build this natural, but the Warp Prism was not used for the double juggle. It was used for the attack as well as the defense. And that's a far better option. Not much that Bly can do about this. MaNa possibly with a kill move there. Might actually be what ends this game. One Queen will not hold up. Lings do come charging back, but that might mean that the Immortals on the defensive can go after the Ravagers. The Observer sees that there's no Lings covering this, and it might look tempting, but he's not gonna do that. He's actually just gonna micro against the Lings so far. A bit of a supply block here from MaNa. Things are weird and stressful, for sure. Observer, I think, got targeted down. Oh, he moved it because he saw the Spore Crawler incoming. Warp Prism. Ooh, that was a big mistake. It stayed in place way too long, way too far forward. But, funnily enough, almost like a bait. Ooh, whoops-a-daisy. Did get a Ravager, finally. Creep also being pushed back. Where's the Warp Prism? Here it is. Lings are still just chasing it. This is taking away the Lings from the front lines, though, and I really do think this is the time where MaNa, his defensive Immortals, can finally start tearing down some of the Ravagers. But more Lings have been made. More Roaches on the way, too. No doubt for more Ravagers. Roaches in this situation, not extremely helpful. Spore Crawler goes down, so Observer can freely go wherever it wants to. Immortals getting very bold once again. One, ooh, almost went down. Thought it did. Ooh, hot pickup. And this, wait. Oh, he must have dropped it and actually lost an Immortal. Okay. How many have died? 5 in total? 110 Lings, though. Finally, resources lost, not going in favor of Bly, but he also finally has his natural expansion up, which he will, yeah, basically be moving all of his drones over to. 16 more Lings. When did he get Overlord speed? What? Wait, what? Is that really worth getting? Huh. I'm not sure what the plan is there for that. MaNa's still on mostly Robo production, but I know he added a couple of gateways. Don't know Twilight Council or Robotics Bay or something else. It's just the Immortals and a single soccer to try and win the game here, and he goes for the kill. He's gonna try to win the game. It gets weird, and the actual Warp Prism dies to the Queens, who have a lot of transfuses. He's down to still a decent number of Immortals, but many of them in the red without their shields. Another Immortal comes into play, but the Warp Prism getting very low to the Queens once again. However, as they go off creep, it is getting more difficult to chase that down. But MaNa getting too confident, I think, right there. I think what he was hoping was that the Immortals would stay together, you know, protecting each other from the attacks, but then they have to split against the Corrosive Bowels. They have to be picked up to save the weaker ones, and then suddenly you have full surrounds on every single Immortal, and it gets a lot harder to juggle when that happens. You're also running into Queens that are on creep, which are very successful at dealing with the Warp Prism, which actually goes down with Immortal inside it, and MaNa is going to lose this game. He is going to lose this game. I cannot believe it. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, Bly. God, you evil genius. I don't know. Now that the game is over with, we can kind of just sit there and say and judge. I think the double Robo was the wrong call. I think he should have just added gateways and gone for a decent number of Adepts. Or even stalkers, which are slightly better against the lings. Like, if you had 4 gateways, then you could also maybe have warped in offensively with that second warp prism that you sneak out, even though you don't have a second robo in this situation. You still manage to sneak it in, like... Man, this tweet, since bullying is a hot topic right now, what were you bullied for? I really hate it. Like, raising awareness for bullying, I guess, is what it's trying to do. But what it's doing is just filling my timeline with people's really depressing stories about what they got bullied for. Thanks for filling my timeline with my friends' tragedies of their childhood. One more game. You might have been expecting more Ravagers, but that game was like 12 minutes long, and for 8 minutes, it was mostly lings. We questioned Bly's GG timings. Well, that one was not so questionable. The first game had more questionable 2 or 3 minutes at the end. That one, not so much. That one was... Actually, multiple engagements proved that MaNa's composition was not quite cutting it. Even though it really does sound like Immortals that can do anything, I guess they can't. Bly needs 2 minutes, thinking up his next strategy. Supposed to bottle those old feelings up, not share them. I know you put a joking face, but it almost sounds accusatory. You can share your feelings, but generally not to thousands of people, hundreds of people. And all at once as well. You're gonna go into the middle of your friend's casual get-together and just start shouting. And encourage everyone else to start shouting as well. I don't know. Alright, it's all tied up. The last game of this series, of this broadcast on this channel at the very least. Winner of this will move on to the lower brackets finals, and then whoever wins that, I think, actually just advances because of the weird situation with Lambo and Special being in both qualifier winners finals. Anyways, Top right as the red Protoss, it is MaNa. And in the bottom left, we have the blue Zerg, Bly. Bly on fire. Once again, going for some cheese. Bly can occasionally play a macro game, and it's not too bad, not too shabby. But MaNa's actually been playing really well against multiple races in the last couple of weeks that I've been able to cast him on all these ESL Open Cups and the TSL qualifiers. He's doing really well. So I would certainly give MaNa the win in a macro game. And not only that, this is also, maybe not the purpose of this, of course, because Bly is Bly, he does this all the time, but this is also letting Bly not have to deal with the Adept stuff that has been shown by MaNa and many other Protoss multiple times to be pretty effective as an opener. So, again, I don't think that's why he's doing this. It's just a Bly thing. But he doesn't have to worry about a macro game versus a Protoss. Nice. Proxy hatch is immediately found out, as it was last game. Now, this one's a lot closer, so it probably is pretty tempting to go ahead and kill that. The last one was scouted, I want to say a little bit later, and also, like, a lot farther away. But you could get a Zealot already on top of that. The Lings are a-coming, so it's definitely not something you should be able to kill. Some people might, like, try and pull probes and do it, but it's not really. It's not what's going to happen. He is going to wall, though. The Zealot can run away from the slow Lings. The wall will block the Lings from heading into... Oh, nope, was that what he was going to do? Oh, it's what he wanted to do, and he messed it up. I think he didn't immediately think of my plan, and then he did, and, well, it was too late by the time he did. That's a little bit awkward. He lets Lings into the main base. He's going to lose 3, 4 probes. 3, 5, 6 probes. It's even worse than I thought it was. An Adept is on the way. The probe was there. Is it actually even a pylon, though? Funnily enough, like, it kind of looks like it's bigger. It shouldn't be. But this is a terrible start. This is actually a catastrophic start. Now, MaNa did go for a different way of holding this here. Well, again, I think it has a lot to do with proximity, because this is a Spine Crawler rush and a Roach rush, and he knows that, just based on the proximity. But, okay, it was a pylon. One pylon. That's too many Lings, man. Too many Lings. Adept comes back, tries to go to pylon, not going to work out. Zealot will take care of this, and panic sets in. You're pretty thankful you get that pylon down. I was saying, you got a Forge and a Robo, so he starts up the cannon. Immortal pops out, but the Spine Crawlers are already rushing towards him. Did MaNa slip up too much in the early game? Immortal does punch through Spine Crawlers pretty damn quickly. Well, I wanted to try and get a blitz before the Immortal was there, before MaNa had been able to collect himself, but doesn't actually get to. The Spine Crawlers will do what they usually do. This is what they usually are supposed to do, is break down the wall and allow the Lings to get in, but I think we all saw the gleam in Bly's eye. He was like, I can do this, I can just rush them forward. Not quite. Double Immortal, taking out a Spine Crawler pretty quickly. No transfuse quite yet on the Queen. There we go. There you go. With the buildings down, the Lings rush in. We once again have a situation where Immortals are proven not to be that good against Lings. And on top of that, this MX4 also dies, so no more force fields. Warp Prism Immortal, still pretty critical, and he's about to have the Warp Prism. He's going to go ahead and wall off here. Bly's not gaining access to this natural. Spine Crawler down. Warp Prism should live. Totally fine. Oh, he grabs a Spine Crawler and a Queen. It's a really nice drop there. Come on, also, I mean, working on Warp Gate against this is sometimes pipe dream, you know, but he seems to have this under control. The addition of the Forge versus this was a really nice touch. Going immediately into a Forge and a Robo was a really nice response. And those Lings, not able to actually get into the natural, never caused as much disruption as they should have. Ooh, the micro down the low ground is nice. He's not quite going to get the queen, unfortunately, and the Warp Prism does take a lot of damage to it, but she's kind of stuck. Maybe going to go for it? Nope, not going to go for it. Wants the queen, not going to get the queen. Natural Hatchery is on the way, and Creep Spread is a rolling here on this side of the map, so that's going to be annoying, but Observer is now out and ready to try and help take care of that. Hatchery is getting very, very low. The second queen might not actually get here. No, it will not. That's queen already alive is like barely alive. More creeps are being cleared up because the Lings can't quite do anything about it. Cannon's holding the natural. Another Immortal on the way. You even have a Stargate and +1 on the way as he builds enough probes to saturate his natural. Double Stargate, in fact. Bly still not moving towards a lair, just making roaches now instead of pure Ling and spine crawlers. He does have equal saturation, but MaNa's jumping ahead now. Roaches against someone who's building Immortals in a Warp Prism. This actually is... What was important about them last game was that they were Ravagers and they were supported by a heck of a lot of Lings. No doubt his plan again here, but at a much later time where MaNa actually has his feet underneath him. He has a natural up and running. He still has all of his production. He still has warp gates. And in this case, he's actually going for double Stargate as well, which is going to really blindside MaNa here. Or Bly, sorry. MaNa is going to be scouted. Yeah, he's going to be scouted, which is nice, but Bly has limited options as to what to do about this. He could take a third base, because Phoenix can't lift buildings, but... You know, the drones won't be really well protected for a while. He obviously can't go into a spire, which is a very common plan when these cheeses fail. We saw it in the first game, after all. And the Phoenix will take control over this game. Not sure what Bly is supposed to do. Bly also has to now deal with getting across the map against someone who's making Immortals in a Warp Prism, which is proving impossible. Can't continue the pressure. It's a very weak Warp Prism, so has to be careful around the queens. More are on the way. No Spore Crawlers quite yet, despite seeing the double Stargate. That's shocking. Got supply block because he lost an Overlord somewhere. Warp Prism still trying to just cut off some Lings and Ravagers here and there. Another Overlord gonna go down. Still no Spore Crawlers? Am I blind? Am I freaking out? Am I hallucinating? What's... Just Queens is not gonna cut it. Not if he really wants to go into Phoenix. He's still making them too, so... I really don't think they're gonna cut it. Like, even with transfuses, they get picked up, they can't transfuse, man. Well, third base is on the way. Something that the Phoenixes can't kill, but the Warp Prism can. So they're really protecting each other. Overseer is going to see that he's still making at least some Phoenix. He also... Did he see the Robotics Bay? Huh, funnily enough. A very odd location to be scouting, so yeah. Didn't see the Robotics Bay. Doesn't know that there was a Disruptor being made. And MaNa just seems like he's going to have too perfect of a composition. He's going to be countering everything here. Wow, you don't see that too often. Nice catch from the Cross of Bows. Nicely done. Phoenix scout the third hatch. Where is that Warp Prism? Might make a beeline towards it. It's going to be covered by the Lings, so I guess it's not going to do exactly what it wants, but we still have so many options here for MaNa to get harassment done. In this case, just going after the Overlords. Bly made 6 to try and get unsupply blocks for a while. Just lost like 4 of them. Immortals go into the main base as the Lings have to curve around. They can't fly. One day, Lings will evolve to fly with these little wings, but not yet. Third Nexus on the way for MaNa. This has all been creeped up anyways. And he is going to go ahead and do a push. Maybe a bit dangerous to do a push. He doesn't have a lot of fodder units. But the Phoenix can pick up a lot of the Corrosive Biles, and Immortals going to be juggled against the Lings. It is... I mean, this can be a push that if he missed micros, he derps a little bit, it would probably all die, but... If he's paying attention, I'm sure he is, the Disruptor will get an amazing hit somewhere, and The Lings will not be the saviors today. After this game. Spore Crawler is probably going to get busted. He's actually going after the hatchery, and there's the disruption shot. Going to grab a Ravager and a handful of Queens. The Lings surround on the Immortals. That's what I was talking about. He can't really stop that from happening. He can try and juggle out of it, but instead he just recalled instantly. Picks up the Ravagers, because why not? He can do whatever he wants. With this many Phoenix, I'm glad to see +1 weapons on the way. And his third Nexus is now up and running. I think MaNa now in a comfortable position where he cannot lose this game. I don't know what Bly would do to come back. There's no gotcha technology that would work against what MaNa has. There's no Spire tech that can work, even though he got a Spire. Shockingly. Swarm Host also wouldn't work because the Phoenix would control the map and he'd risk losing the Swarm Host. Even as they try to retreat back into the Nidus. Just wouldn't work. Otherwise, his plan could be to keep his head down and try and macro. Is he going to try and force the Spire play? 9 Corruptors could just be a defensive thing. Like, we'll have to get something against these Phoenix, and it's not wrong. But if he's going to try and get Corruptors and then go into Mutas and play that game, like it's 2014 again, I don't have a lot of hope in that. He's finally going to get his third base up again. Plenty of Spore Crawlers to help out. 11 Corruptors is a pretty damn good count against 14 Phoenix. The nice thing is that as soon as MaNa realizes, hey, you have Corruptors, let me just run away. Oh, he actually stays around. I think that was quite worth it. A couple Overlords die, a couple drones, but a couple Phoenix. Run, 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 run. I know he got a Void Ray, but he's not going to continue into this air battle. He's on to a bigger, better, more stable Protoss army. Archon, Charge Lot, Immortal. Looking a bit more stable. There's not much the Corruptors can do about that. The Corruptors can try and backstab and grab a Nexus by peeing on it. They can try and grab that. Hey, they grab that War Prism, for sure. Forced to drop the Disruptor and has to remake the War Prism. Corruptors only losing one of their lives. But MaNa is still going to go ahead with the push. Up 30 army supply. With very, very powerful units. Charge finishing. +2. About 30 seconds. 40 seconds. Corruptors just chasing. They need to help out in some way. And they can try to help out against the Phoenix, but they're being a little lazy. There we go. Not going to try and help out. They've taken a lot of transfuses from this engagement, but like transfuses on what? There's not that many units besides those Queens and those Corruptors. Disruptor gets an okay hit, but the Immortals and Archons and Charge Lots are doing the job anyways. Corruptors did their thing. They won the air battle. Way to go, guys. That's not enough. GG. MaNa not letting that game
forces detected.
go.
Arming raid defenses.
Game will be, thank you.